Not many people today have ever heard of Leon Trotsky, and I ultimately find that to be a little puzzling. When somebody says the Soviet Union, automatically the first people that pop into your mind are Vladimir Lenin, Joseph Stalin, and maybe some other successors. But I think that Leon Trotsky has every right to be held up there with those people. He was one of the most powerful people in the early Soviet Union, and was actually supposed to be Lenin's successor, before, Stalin messed everything up. Not only this, but his ideology, Trotskyism, is very interesting, with it being very radical and basically the complete opposite of Stalinism. Trotskyism can be summed up in three main points. They got beef with Stalin and Stalinism, they think that for socialism to spread, there needs to be an international revolution, and with the revolution, it would be straight from feudalism to socialism, instead of having it be from feudalism to capitalism and then to socialism. Oh, and how could I forget that they sell newspapers? Leon Trotsky played a prominent role in helping spread socialism to Russia, with him being Minister of War and was supposed to be the next ruler after Lenin's death, as said in Lenin's testament. But of course, Stalin was just built differently and destroyed it before it came to fruition. Once Lenin died, the war for power was on, with the two main contenders being Stalin and Trotsky. Now, these two people were the polar opposites of each other, with one being extremely leftist and the other rightist. Instead of settling their debates over an epic rap battle, Stalin instead succumbed to getting rid of Trotsky, and I think we all know what getting rid of means. First, he got him out of a position of power through his charisma and persuaded everyone that he was a radical leftist and would ruin socialism in the Soviet Union. Then, he proceeded to kick him out of the USSR entirely, and had him seek asylum in many different countries around the world. This all concluded with his death when a hired assassin hit him with an ice pick at his home in Mexico. Before his murder, even though he was living his life in fear of death, he did not cease to criticize Stalin, with him being awfully critical with how totalitarian his dictatorship had become, the lack of democracy in it, and of course how Stalin wanted socialism in one country. Now this of course led to the Great Purge, where Stalin killed anyone who was a trot, and with Leon Trotsky's last words being, "I think Stalin has finished the job he started," which further proves his point about how his rule had become an authoritarian dictatorship, where instead of giving power to the proletariat, they were taking it away from them. Throughout his life, Trotsky had advocated for an international revolution, instead of Stalin, who believed in socialism in one country, which then would spread socialism to other countries because of its power. Trotsky believed in an international revolution simply because Russia was too weak to become the only socialist country and was basically that one weird kid in Europe. It then would be devoured by the Western European capitalist countries, who would feel threatened and proceed to bully Russia until they were no more. Instead, he thought that it was Russia's job to encourage a socialist revolution in other countries in order to take down the bourgeoisie, and in order for the revolution to be permanent, then the means of production needed to lie in the hands of the proletariat. Although the Russian working class was quite small, only they could overthrow feudalism and gain support of the peasantry. They would do this by doing a revolution to emancipate the peasantry, and thus gain the support of the peasantry. They would not stop there and overthrow the capitalist class in Russia and make a worker state that would appeal to working classes in other countries. And these working classes would come to support Russia and establish the same revolution in their country, making this a worldwide revolution. So instead of having a revolution to feudalism, to capitalism, and then capitalism to socialism, Trotsky thought that instead it would be an automatic jump from feudalism to socialism, as both feudalism and capitalism have the same premise but accomplished in different ways, which was to have the rich exploit the working class for money. All in all, Trotsky was probably one of the greatest revolutionaries the world has ever seen. He had a very liberal view to the spread of communism and was almost the leader of the USSR. He was one of the only men who challenged Joseph Stalin's power and almost won, but history forgot he existed because of, ironically, what Stalin did to him. What if Trotsky became leader of the USSR? Would his ideology help communism gain power and become mainstream all throughout the world, or would communism crumble just like it did with the Soviet Union? That is up for you to decide.